The Reckoning is real easy to understand. You're building a bridge in an isolated part of the Ascendant Plane in an extraterrestrial experiment run by a consciousness made out of dark matter in cooperation with a guardian who's not a guardian to obtain armor pieces for Gambit Prime by crafting modes using synths in your synthesizer that you have to level up. And basically, that's it guys. Happy gaming! Hi guys and welcome to Gaming Watcher. My name is Rolson and in this video I'll give you a complete Destiny 2 Reckoning guide. The Reckoning is not only a fun activity, it actually has some really great loot and some interesting lore to explore. I'll get into both, plus tell you how to probably play the Reckoning and everything else that you might want to know about it. At the end of the video I'll give you some tips and strategies to use to get through the activity fast and easy, so stick around guys, I'll make it worth your time. First of all, let's ask the question, what is the Reckoning? Well, from a gameplay standpoint, the Reckoning is a horde mode activity where you have to fend off a horde of enemies as a team. There are 3 tiers of the activity. Now let's just pause for a second. This is a public service announcement. Some of you guys have commented on my pronunciation of the word tier. I pronounce it tire and you say apparently that means like the wheel of a car. So I've decided to fix that in this video. You're welcome. There are 3 tiers of the activity, every tier harder than the lower one. How to access them and what they mean I'll get back to a little bit later in the video. Let's first answer the same question from a lore standpoint. Lore-wise, the Reckoning is pretty interesting. It's run by the Drifter, a mysterious rogue lightbearer. The Drifter is probably one of the most interesting characters in Destiny because he is a total unknown. He does not go by any of the classes that we currently know, Hunter, Titan and Warlock. He's also not called a Guardian, but just a Lightbearer. Not much is known about his past, other than that he was resurrected by the Traveler and shortly after left the city. It is also known that he ran with a crew of Guardians that called themselves the Dredgen, but that he is no longer a part of that either. This is why he is called the Drifter. He belongs to no faction within the Destiny universe. The Reckoning is an activity that he is actually running in cooperation with some mysterious beings called the Nine. Very little is known about the Nine, but to keep it simple, they are some sort of non-material entity. A consciousness made of dark matter that is in some way deeply connected to life itself. The Nine seem to have a lot of power in what is called the Ascendant Plane, and actually the Reckoning is taking place inside the Ascendant Plane. Have you ever wondered about that planet thing being towed by the Drifter's ship? That is where the Reckoning takes place. It seems to be an isolated part of the Ascendant Plane and it was gifted to the Drifter by the Nine. Why is not clear at the moment, but there is speculation that it might be for the Nine to examine the Guardians and their use of the light against the dark. So basically, when you're playing the Reckoning, you're a guinea pig for some extraterrestrial consciousness running experiments on you. But hey, you get nice loot, so why not? There is a lot of lore on the Drifter, Gambit, Reckoning and the weapons that can be obtained in these activities, and covering it all would take several full videos. So I'm going to keep this guide on the topic of the Reckoning, what it is and how to play it. First we have to talk about modes and synthesizers that you use in the Reckoning to acquire certain armor sets. Gambit and the Reckoning is connected in kind of a unique way. When you play Gambit you can acquire what is called synths. They are called things like Reaper Synth, Collector Synth, Invader Synth and so on. These can be used in your synthesizer to craft modes. These modes can be banked in the Reckoning. When you bank these modes before diving into the Reckoning, you're sure to receive a piece of armor when completing the activity. These armor pieces assembles into 4 armor sets: the Collector set, the Invader set, the Reaper set and the Sentry set. These armor sets have unique sets of perks that only work in Gambit matches, so they are specifically made to be used when playing Gambit. Furthermore, they are made to fill a certain role on a Gambit team. For example, the Collector set has the following perks. Inheritance. You drop a percentage of your modes on the ground when you die. Umbral armor. Picking up 5 motes in quick succession gives you an overshield. Cashback. Generate kinetic and energy ammo when you bank motes. High yield savings. You can carry up to 20 motes instead of 15, and depositing 20 motes at once sends a giant blocker to the enemy arena. So this armor set is specifically made for picking up motes and being more effective at that. As you progress the tiers of the Reckoning, you upgrade your synthesizer to craft more and more powerful motes and gain more and more powerful armor. The more powerful the armor, the more of these perks the armor set will have unlocked. So to have all the perks, you need to get tier 3 versions of all the armor pieces for one set. So let's get back to the tiers and the gameplay of each one. Tier 1 is very simple. You drop down into the arena. Now you have to prove your dominance to the 9 by quickly and consistently killing enemies. A percentage will count upwards as long as you're defeating enemies rapidly enough, but you have to reach 100% before the timer stops. When you reach 100%, a boss will spawn that you have to defeat within a time limit. As I said, really simple. When you reach tier 2 though, this changes pretty drastically. The first round is the same. Defeat enemies as effectively as possible, but this time, when you reach 100%, you will be directed into a whole other arena. In here there is a bridge, and you need to build this bridge by capturing the checkpoints on it while defending it from the horde of enemies coming at you. Stand in the ring until you have captured 100% and then move up the bridge to the next ring. There are taken enemies coming at you from the front and the back, and there are snipers placed on platforms on the sides of the bridge, so you have to keep moving while inside the ring and keep an eye on all the sides. When you have captured all the checkpoints on the bridge, a portal will open by the end. This transports you into a dark arena where you have to fight 2 giant taken knights. The mechanics are simple. There is a glowing taken running around that is marked on the screen. You have to defeat the glowing taken first. Then it will drop a pool on the ground that when you stand in it will give you extra damage to the knights, allowing you to kill them. The pool only lasts for a certain amount of time. This repeats itself until you have killed the 2 knights. Then you have completed tier 2. Now this might be simple, but these knights are not playing around, man. They can almost kill you with one hit, so you have to try and avoid them as much as possible. Tier 3 is basically the same as tier 2, except there is an additional boss at the end. This boss fight is against a shadow of Oryx. If you haven't played Destiny 1, you might not know who Oryx is, but that really doesn't matter anyways. The mechanics here are just to do as much damage to the boss as possible. The only other mechanic that you need to be aware of is that at some points Oryx will go to one of the corners of the arena and start glowing and raising her arms. During this, if you do not do enough damage, your whole team will wipe. Other than that, it's just a matter of staying alive and doing damage. And that's it for the 3 tiers. So playing the Reckoning, there are some weapons that you can acquire that are especially interesting. This is the Spare Rations Hand Cannon, the Sole Survivor Sniper Rifle, the Doomsday Grenade Launcher, and the Last Man Standing Shotgun. All of these weapons with the right combination of perks are worth grinding for. As I promised in the beginning of the video, I'll give you some strategy tips for playing the Reckoning. Now since this is an older activity and not that high in power level at the moment, you can clear this without putting too much effort into strategy and builds. But if you're going to grind for guard rolls, you might want to get through this as quickly as possible. So you're playing a fire team of 4 in the Reckoning, and my advice for class combination would be 2 warlocks, 1 hunter and 1 titan. If you have another preference, please leave a comment in the comment section. I would love to hear your best strategy. So since the meta is always changing in Destiny, what gear and supers to use will change. But the whole idea here is you need protection and damage. That is why Well of Radiance is nice, because it gives you protection from the snipers while allowing you to do more damage because of the buffed reload speed. Tether for hunters is also very relevant because of the damage buff and the crowd control it can give you. In terms of builds, it is best to focus on builds that give you your super back as quickly as possible. Because you have to defend these checkpoints on the bridge, the best build is the one that will allow you to have full super at every checkpoint. So at the moment that would be the ORPHEUS rig exotic legs for the hunter to get super energy back for the shadow shot, for example. That's it guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like on the video and please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. As always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.